Hi, you're watching us on NewsX YouTube. My name is Devika Chopra. With me is Rishabh Gulati. And Rishabh, today we'll be talking about some of the most important people as far as Chinese military is concerned, the men who are leading these operations that we are now hearing about on an everyday basis.
What is fundamentally important, Devika, is to understand who are the people doing what. Now, the Chinese structure is very, very opaque, right? Their military announcements, their transfers are difficult to get details on. But it's very important for us to understand who are the faces between who's doing what. So if Xi Jinping is the master planner sitting at the top in Beijing as president, who are his operational people that he's handpicked to actually execute decisions in places like the east of Ladakh, Aksai Chin, LAC. This man at the back of our screens, Devika, is right now the most important face along the LAC. And he's become the most important face along the LAC as of the 1st of June. So exactly a week ago, his name is Lieutenant General Zhu Qiling, and Zhu Qiling has just taken over as the ground troops commander for the People's Liberation Army's Western Theatre Command. So the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, up until 2015 used to work on military regions. So let me explain that to you. This is a map showing the military regions of the People's Liberation Army. You can see in Manchuria, they had the Shenyang military region. Slightly towards the south of that, they have the Beijing military region, which is here. Then along the eastern seaboard, Jinan military region, which is here. Then the Nanjing military region, which is here. And if you can zoom in to this map in detail, to the south, Guangzhou military region. Then what mattered to us operationally till the border with Nepal, they had the Chengdu military region, and then in the northwest covering Xinjiang, they had the Lanzhou military region, which is here. So this is how roughly the 11 military regions worked out as far as China was operationally governed in terms of its military hierarchy. This all changed in 2015. That they put together these military regions, and the same issue that we have in India. So you have the Northern Command, Western Command, Southern Command, Central Command, Eastern Command. Then you have the operational commands divided by the armed force. So IAF has its own commands, the Army has its own commands, the Navy has its own operational commands. So they converted all of these into theater commands. Now this is what the new theater commands now look like in China. So this is what's been done by Xi Jinping in 2015. They've condensed the 11 military regions to 5 operational theater commands. You have the Northern Command here, okay, which is still headquartered at Shenyang. Then you have the Central Theater Command, which is basically headquartered in Beijing, okay, and then they have another military headquarter in Shijiazhuang, okay. Then you have the Jinan military command here, which has been condensed. Then you have the Eastern Theatre Command. So the Jinan area now comes under the Northern Theatre Command. Then you have the Eastern Theatre Command, the Southern Theatre Command, and Western Theatre Command. So North, West, South, East, and Central Theatre Commands have been put together. Okay. Now what it matters for us is this right here, Jinan and the Western Theatre Command, which earlier was headquartered in Chengdu as the Chengdu military region. Now all of China's northwest, which means the border here with India, all of this is now under a single Western Theatre Command, which is headquartered operationally in Chengdu. Okay. Now the reason for our viewers watching this, the two places, Jinan and Chengdu. So it's obvious from this map that the Western Theatre Command here is a frontline command. Okay. The Jinan Theatre Command here, as the military region used to be, which is now part of the Northern Theatre Command, that Jinan Theatre Command was a reserve command. So these are the reserved army formations that were operating there. And this is where we come down to our general who is now heading the ground troops as of the 1st of June 2020, General Zhu Qiling. This man, General Zhu Qiling, comes from Henan province. He was born in something called Huaiyang district. This is in Zhaokao, and forgive my pronunciations, in Henan province. He was born in July of 1963. He served principally in the Jinan military region. So his primary area of serving was as a commander, so of a reserve army which was posted in Jinan. Why this is important is because he served as the commander of what was called the 83rd Group Army. The 83rd Group Army is the erstwhile 54th Group Army. Now, as I mentioned, Jinan was converted and co-opted as a theatre command into the Northern Theatre Command in 2015. Okay, it covers the regions from where he was born. So it covers Shandong and Henan, which is what the Jinan Theatre Command, or rather the Jinan military region earlier comprised of. So you can see very clearly over here, the northern part of the Jinan. This is Shandong here, and this is Henan here. So towards the northeast is Shandong, and towards the slightly towards the southwest is Henan. This man was born in Henan and he was operating principally here. So this was a reserve command, which is a reserve army, since it was not a frontier command. It faces the Yellow Sea, the East China Sea, okay, and Taiwan is here. So it was a reserve command. Now this man was, as I mentioned, commanding the 83rd Group Army. Now the interesting thing about this particular Lieutenant General Zhu Qinling is that as commander of the 83rd Army, which was the 54th Army, the 54th Army, its constituent divisions, which is the 127th Mechanized Infantry Division, they had the 162nd Motorized Division, the 11th Armored Division, they also had the 1st Air Defense Support Group Brigade, as well as an Artillery Brigade and the 1st Army Aviation Regiment, all came under the 54th Group Army. And the important thing is that these people, these groups and divisions, battalions and brigades, had and saw action multiple times. They saw action in the 62 war, they saw action in the Sino-Vietnamese war that happened in 1979, and these are the operational people for which their regiments and battalions who had seen action that this man was commanding up until very recently. When the command structure changed and the 11 military regions became the integrated theatre commands, this man, Lieutenant General Qinling, he became then the deputy commander of the Central Theatre Command. Now, for again reference to context, the Central Theatre Command based out of Henan. So, Jinan now in the Northern Command, but Henan was operationally conglomerated into the Central Theatre Command. So, he became the deputy chief of the Center Theatre Command. He served here from 2016 all the way up till 2017. In 2017, he was made given a promotion, and by December of 2018, he became the commander of the Eastern Theatre Command based out of Nanjing. So, our man, Lieutenant General now at this point of time, who is now currently in charge of Chinese troops of the PLA along Ladakh, this man became in 2018 of December, he became the Eastern Theatre Command. He replaced Lieutenant General Qin Weijiang and became as Lieutenant General the commander of the Eastern Theatre Command's ground force, which is the Army's part as Lieutenant General. They have a general who is commander of the theatre, then they have the Army, Navy and the ground forces division, and he was reporting to the single unified commander of all the integrated forces, but he was reporting as the commander of the ground forces, which is what his job is currently in that region. In December of 2019, Xi Jinping personally anointed him a lieutenant general, okay? That is called Zhongjiang. Jiang is general, Zhong lieutenant, Lieutenant General Qinling appointed by Xi Jinping himself. Now, this was at a particular point of time when he also becomes a delegate of the 13th National Congress. The 13th National Congress, remember the National Congress are the committees that are set up by the Chinese Communist Party. So, he becomes bona fide member of the National Congress, which is a rare honor for military commanders. But if you want to be a senior military commander, you are expected to be participants in the National People's Congress. Now, this man on the 1st of June took over as the Western Theatre Command. So, this is a name that we now all need to understand. Lieutenant General Zhu Qinling is the operational man in charge of the troops along the LAC and the Sino-Indian border, all the way from Ladakh, Aksai Chin, all the way till Arunachal Pradesh. He is commander of the ground forces. Now, why was he replaced? Why was the old commander replaced? There can only be two reasons. Number one is you replace the commander to blame the crisis on the old guy. Okay, and you say, oh, we didn't order anything. This guy overreacted, so we're replacing him and getting a new guy. That's not what is happening. In fact, the opposite is happening. The Chinese establishment of the PLA, all the way up to Xi Jinping, who is Supreme Commander of the PLA, is consolidating even more loyalist people to take over sensitive commands. So this individual, Lieutenant General Zhu Keeling, is hand-picked individual of Xi Jinping and the military proteges of Xi Jinping. Now, who are the military proteges of Xi Jinping? Let us now start looking at the military proteges of Xi Jinping, beginning with this individual on our screen. Let's zoom into his photograph so it's clearly visible, please. This individual is the boss of Lieutenant General Zhu Keeling. He is the operational commander. His name is General Zhao Zongqi. General Zhao Zongqi is the CNC, the highest ranking official in charge of the Western Theatre Command. Now, here's another photograph of the same incidental General Zhao. Okay, here he is with former India's army chief, General Dalbir Sohag there. He visited India. Here's another photograph of the same General Zhao sitting with Pakistani Army Chief Qamar Bajwa. Here it is. Here's another photograph of him with Pakistani Army Chief Qamar Bajwa. These are important people. In fact, that is the other general. So this is operationally the next in line in terms of chain of command to the PLA ground forces commander all along the LAC and the China border. Let's keep his photograph in. Remember this face, General Zhao Zongqi. Now, General Zhao Zongqi, he was born in a place called Bin County in Heilongjiang province. Now, Heilongjiang province, as we were discussing earlier, was a part of Manchuria. This is Heilongjiang province in the northeast of China. So, he was born in Manchuria in the northeast of China. Okay. And his distinction, the distinction of this man is that he has spent most of his career, in fact 20 years of his career was spent as one of the commanding officers of the Tibetan military district. 20 years. He is a Tibet specialist as far as China is concerned. In August 1999, he became Chief of Staff of the Tibetan military district. From 1984 to 1999, he was Deputy Chief of Staff of the Tibetan military district. Subsequently, in October 2004, he held the position of being the Chief of Staff of the Tibetan military district all the way up until 2004. After 2004, he took over an important army, the 14th Group Army. He became Commander-in-Chief of the 14th Group Army. Subsequently, in September of 2007, he was transferred to the 13th Group Army as Commander. In December 2007, he was named Chief of Staff of, guess where? The Jinan military region. Okay. So, in 2007, this man, General Zhang, okay, General Zhao Zongqi is commander of the Jinan military district, and guess who spent most of his career in the Jinan military district? His current deputy, Lieutenant General Keeling. So that's the connection, that both of them served in the Jinan military district. So you have Lieutenant General Keeling, okay. Above that you have General Zhao Zongqi. General Zhao Zongqi is the general. He reports to the army commander, and the army commander reports to Xi Jinping. Now, this particular stint in December 2007 until November 2012, Devika, where he served as the Jinan military region Chief of Staff of the General Staff, this is the linkage between these two guys. So, the operational Western Theatre commander has gotten his own protege to take over this particular sensitive ground force And he is the operational man who is going to be commanding the troops and deciding what they do on the LAC and other regions. In November 2012, this same man became commander of the Jinan military region, and that is General Zhao. So General Zhao takes over as commander. After having served as chief of staff, he takes over as commander of the Jinan military region. And by 2015, and it's 2015 that Xi Jinping does all his military reforms. There's one important point to note here, Devika. Xi Jinping has had to struggle to become who he wants to become, which is the next Mao, the next Deng Xiaoping. Okay? There was a time in China when his loyalists did not control everything, and to control China, you have to control the Politburo and you have to control the PLA. So there was a time when Xi Jinping was not as powerful as he is today in 2020. He had to go through getting his own people situated in important command areas so that he could stamp his authority over the People's Liberation Army. This could only be done by bringing together massive reform and a massive purge. That reform and purge happened in 2015 when the military regions, they became the integrated theater commands. And his people, including General Zhao Zhongqi, became leaders of those commands. So this General Zhao Zhongqi takes over the important Western Theater Command as its principally first commander on the 31st of July 2015, and he's been holding that position since for the past 5 years. Now, incidentally, this man, General Zhao Zhongqi, has been a member of the 18th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China. So you have this Congress, okay, People's Congress, which is the lower level. Then you have the Central Committee, and at the very highest level, the Chinese have the Central Military Commission. And he is tipped to be one of the next members of the Central Military Commission, a close aide and confidant of Xi Jinping. Now, as far as General Zhao is concerned, he is considered by the Chinese as a war hero. He fought in the Vietnam War, where he served as commander of the 52nd Mountain Brigade, fought in the Vietnam War. He had the distinction of disguising himself as a Vietnamese to gather intelligence in Vietnam. This is the Sino-Vietnamese War in 1979. Okay, this same General Zhao Jinping. So he has had combat experience in the past and is considered by the Chinese as a war hero. So a Vietnam war hero who has spent 20 years pretty much running the affairs of the Tibetan military district. So he, for China, is the Tibet specialist. And they made the Tibet specialist the commander of all the PLA's integrated division that handles all of Tibet and therefore all of the border with India, Nepal and Bhutan all the way till Arunachal. Now, incidentally, this same General Zhao Zhongqi, this same general who was a mountain warfare expert for the Chinese, he was in command when the Doklam incident took place in 2017. So he was very much in charge when that incident took place. In fact, just a few months before that incident took place, here he is with India's army chief pretending all is okay. Bye-bye. Okay. So he is a mountain warfare specialist. He spent all his time worrying about Tibet, and currently he is the man in charge. Now, let me bring you back to some interesting history. Xi Jinping's first visit to India was in 2014 when Narendra Modi had just become Prime Minister. Right bang in the middle of Xi Jinping arriving in India, an incident took place in Ladakh. Okay, it was known as the Chumur incident. Again, the Chinese had come in and they had brought heavy infrastructure equipment to build a temporary road. Again, it led to a standoff, and this is happening. You have a new Indian president, okay? You have a Chinese president. They are meeting for the first time in a massive summit, and suddenly an incident takes place in Ladakh, okay? This was a sign of Xi Jinping not having absolute control of the PLA. So forces within the PLA are saying, okay, the president is going to India, let's create a problem with India, so the visit gets absolutely tarnished and overshadowed by a problem in Ladakh. This was the point of time when one of then top generals a person who was part of the Chinese Central Military Commission. His name was General Fang Changlong. General Fang Changlong was tasked by Xi Jinping to find the next generation of commanders. So he found 3 and they were put to a test. One was Lieutenant General Liu Yujun. The second was, and he was commander of the Lanzhou military region. The second was General Li Shiming, commander of the Chengdu military region, which was bordering Tibet. And the third was then Lieutenant General Zhao Zongqi. He was commander of the Jinan military region. He was handpicked after this incident took place in Chumur in Ladakh during Xi Jinping's visit, and suddenly from a reserve military battalion military region, which is in Jinan, it's not an operational front region, his great experience in Tibet, and he is brought in as the theatre command, integrated theatre command for a Western theatre, which is the largest theatre command in China right now. So a hand-picked man who spent he was there in the 2017 Doklam crisis, okay? And as I mentioned, he is a person we're looking at who's going to take over a position in China's Central Military Commission. Incidentally, he is fluent in several languages. He speaks Arabic, he speaks Vietnamese, and as far as the Chinese are concerned, he has had foreign experience, which is why he is sent on these foreign delegations, including the one to India. He served as the military attaché in Tanzania. He was deeply involved in China's affairs of expansion of its influence in Africa. And this meeting that took place between Lieutenant General Sohag, here's another meeting that took place. Here we go. Here's another meeting there, okay? And these are the top military commanders. This is General Dervish Sohag meeting General Zhao's boss, and I'm going to come and talk about him in just a second. This, of course, happening in Beijing. So these are the important forces, and this same General Zhao, guess where he was? He met India's Northern Army commander, Lieutenant General Rarbir Singh, who was on a delegation visit to China. He met him in January of 2020. Okay, so hardly 4-5 months ago, right before the rest of the world got hit by corona. By the time these guys already knew that corona was coming. So a crucial man for the Chinese establishment. The next man who is crucial as far as our understanding of China's military hierarchy matters is General Li Zuocheng. This is General Li Zuocheng, another fascinating character, another Tibet specialist as far as the Chinese is concerned. He is the chief general, he is the Shangjiang of the PLA Army Division. He sits on the Central Military Commission. Well, his important role reports to the Central Military Commission, and he is the boss of General Zhao. Interestingly, General Li, he was born in 1953 in October. He comes from Hunan province. Okay, and reference to context once again, we were talking about Hunan province. So this is Chengdu, Hunan province. Okay, and Chengdu had been one of the operational commands in which he served. So he comes from Hunan province. Okay, here's a photograph of him taking the flag from guess who? Xi Jinping. Okay, so General Li, who comes from Hunan province, okay, he joined the PLA at the age of 17 in 1970, and he also fought in 1978-79 in the Sino-Vietnamese War. Okay, he was a company commander of the Guangxi military district at that point of time, and as the company commander of the Guangxi military district, he had a 26-day engagement with Vietnamese forces, and that's how he became infamous. But the irony for him is that even though he was given awards as hero of the company, he was given the merit first class, he was officially called a war hero. Of all these achievements, he was invited in 1982, just a few years later, to sit in the presidium of the 12th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. Okay, so Communist Party National Congress, then you have the committee, and then you have the military commission. So he was invited in 1982, rising star. He was only 29 years old, this man, rising star, but then something went wrong. From 1982 to 1994, he was rising rapidly. through the ranks of the Chinese military. Okay, he became a divisional commander by 1994. Okay, he played an important role in flooding and other activities that took place in China. But something went wrong in the interim period from those times all the way up until where his position is today. And the reason for that is that if you look at he attends at the age of 29. In 1982, he attends the 12th People's Congress of the Chinese Communist Party. 29 years old, rising star, hero of the war. Okay. But from 1984 to 1992, nothing happens. He hardly gets any promotions. And subsequently, he keeps struggling. His military career is dead. And the reason the Chinese scholars describe his military career as dead was because they suspect that somewhere between this period, he offended the former Chinese president Jiang Zemin. There was something that went wrong, and Jiang Zemin got angry with him, and he was basically for 10 years left in the wilderness to rot around and got a chance to do absolutely nothing. Now, in this period, what happens? Xi Jinping, okay? So you have Jiang Zemin, Hu Jintao, Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping, when he becomes president, he's looking for his own people. And how to find your own people is that the people in the structure the old regime did not like, the disenfranchised people, their only hope for career advancement is loyalty to you. So Xi Jinping starts to find these commanders, and this General Li becomes one of them. After a decade in the wilderness, he finally in 2008 became military commander of the Chengdu military region. And in 2015, as I mentioned, the Chengdu military region, you have the Integrated Theatre Command. It becomes part of the Western Theatre Command, but still headquartered in Chengdu. Okay. Now, it took him so much time to do this that even though he became Major General in 1997, it took him all the way up until 2008 before he becomes Deputy Commander of the Chengdu. So 11 years to go from Major General to Lieutenant General, and then finally now today, of course, he is General. Now, he got that Lieutenant General promotion in 2009, okay, 12-year interval from Major General to Lieutenant General. But since then, fast-tracked, cut, 2009, he becomes Lieutenant General. By 2013, he's General, full General. And subsequently, 2 years later, he is in a position where we are all expecting him to be sitting also in the Central Military Commission. Now, unlike his deputy Zhao, he is expected to go, he went straight to the Central Military Commission without being part of the Central Committee. So, Zhao, member of the Central Committee, expected to be in the Central Military Commission. Li, Central Military Commission, but never sat in the Central Committee. So, see how Xi Jinping fast-tracked his career after he spent 10 years in the wilderness under Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao. So, this is Xi's man. So, now the structure is very clear. You have at the very top, controlling with an iron fist the PLA, which he has purged and reformed. So, how did Xi Jinping do the purge? He said, okay, I'm clearing the PLA, which is notorious for corruption. I'm going to get rid of all the corrupt generals. In getting rid of the corrupt generals, you clear out all the generals of the previous regime. You get your own loyalists. General Li is one of your loyalists. Okay, so you have Xi Jinping and General Li. General Li is the top commander sitting there, the general of the Chinese forces, and he sits on the Central Military Commission. Reporting to him is this man, General Zhao, and reporting to him is this man, General Keeling. Okay, and General Keeling now the operation command. So between these three generals, operationally him, then General Zhao, then General Xi, and they report directly to Xi Jinping as president and commander of all of the Chinese forces. So the Chinese have done a extensive reform of their military structures. Xi Jinping has got his own people, and there is a very clear chain of command. General Li, his protege, General Zhao, both of whom are Tibet specialists. General Zhao, mountain warfare expert, spent decades in Tibet, but in between he was commander of the Jinan military region under whom served this man. So now they've got all their proper proteges. Xi Jinping's protege, his protege, and his protege are the operational commanders now all along the LAC. And these are the people who are now making the decisions of what happens, and they want domination because they have to control the LAC, they have to control Aksai Chin, because if they don't control Aksai Chin, if they don't control Xinjiang, if they don't control Tibet, Xinjiang and Qinghai, which is what Tibet is to them, if they don't control these regions, all of Xi Jinping's plans for the future fail. The new Silk Road goes right through these regions. Kashgar, which was one of the original homes of the new Silk Road, which is the cultural capital of Xinjiang, the official capital is of course Urumqi. Kashgar is the end point of the CPEC. Kashgar is the beginning point of the road that leads into Tibet, that goes through Aksai Chin. Kashgar is the nodal point, and it is sitting right there. I can just put that on a map for you. Okay, so Kashgar is right here. This is Kashgar. Okay, so you cannot have this new Silk Road if you don't have control over these regions. So which is why operationally for the future of China, currently China's development and economic growth has been restricted to the eastern seaboard here. Okay, all the coastal towns. The west is poor and divided, the northeast is poor and divided. Okay, the future of this has to be what Xi Jinping is dreaming as the new Silk Road. The new Silk Road goes here. Okay, and you can't do it because right here you have Aksai Chin, right here you have Tibet. You can't do it. So Xi Jinping is securing his legacy by ensuring that his protege and his protege's protege and his protege's protege are controlling this entire region of the Western Theatre Command, which is the largest theatre command, and all of this. Kashgar sits here. Okay, sorry, Kashgar sits here. There you go, your CPEC. Here goes the road connecting to Lhasa. Okay, the road connecting to Lhasa through Aksai Chin. Aksai Chin. So this is the central point. Your new Silk Road will have to go through here, and all your connections with Afghanistan, Central Asia, Russia will all have to go through here, which is why this region is so important to the Chinese, which is what they're doing, what they are. And these are the 4 people who are going to have to mastermind all their moves along the LAC, Devika.
Well, Rishabh, that was a very extensive explanation of who are the people in the Chinese military who are leading everything that you and I hear about.
Okay, I'm going to put a small caveat for a lot of people who've been writing in and saying, please do these presentations with the graphics and maps. We do these videos in between our regular news bulletins, especially for YouTube, so they don't air on television. But I know this is a bit rough, but I'm hoping it's an improvement, and we'll keep adding on to this as we go ahead.
Well, absolutely. We will continue to make some improvements on that end as well, so that you can have a better understanding of what is it that we're trying to tell you. But that was a very extensive explanation by Rishabh as to what the Chinese military really looks like. Hope you enjoyed it, and do press the like button.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.